Hello everyone, welcome back. It's time for our second destination reader lesson. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's lesson. Today we are going to start reading The Hodgeheg by Dick King-Smith. You have some key words in red. These are really important words that will help you with your learning today. There will be some questions for you to answer in blue. And just like yesterday, there will be time to do some writing as well. Before we begin, check that you have a copy of the story. Your adult should have collected this from school. And a strategy prompt sheet. Again, your adult will have collected this from school for you. You will also need a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper or your home learning book to do some writing. Press pause and go and collect those things. Then press play, ready to start. Press pause now. Okay, let's get going. The Hodgeheg by Dick King-Smith. We're going to start today with strategy number 2, which is all about asking questions. I want to know, why do good readers ask questions? Have a think, then say your answer out loud to yourself, to an adult, to a brother or sister, or to your favourite toy. Then write your answer down. Why do good readers ask questions? Press pause, then press play once you've finished talking and writing. Press pause now. Well done, everyone. Good readers ask questions as they read because it helps them to understand what is happening in the story. Asking questions also keeps the reader interested and makes them want to read more. Now remember, when we ask questions in Destination Reader, it's a little strange as we don't always give the answers. We're just making a list of lots and lots of questions. Are you ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Vocabulary. So there are some words that are going to come up in our reading today that might be new words and quite tricky words. So I'm going to help you understand them. We're going to do my turn, your turn. I'm going to say the word and then you'll say the word. My turn. Copped it. Your turn. My turn. Copped it. Well done. Copped it is really informal language. And in our story today, somebody cops it. And actually, it's a character called Aunt Betty. She's a hedgehog. And she's been hit by a car. And unfortunately, she's died. She's copped it. The next word is suburban. My turn, suburban. My turn, suburban. Well done. Suburban is an area of houses outside of a town or a city. It's quite a busy area, but it also has lots of green spaces like parks. It's not as busy as Ealing. Ealing is a town. A suburban area is a quieter area. So our characters live in the suburban area. My turn, suburban. Our third word is delicacies. My turn, delicacies. Delicacies. Delicacies is something pleasing and tasty to eat. So some of the characters in our story today are going to eat some delicacies. Something pleasing and tasty to eat. And then our fourth word is the word sow. Your turn. My turn. Sow. Well done. A sow is the name for a female hedgehog. And then our fourth word is the word for a male hedgehog. And a male hedgehog is called a boar. My turn. Boar. Boar. Brilliant. So we will see those words in our story today. Are you ready? Shall we start reading? Okay. Open up your books to page number 1. Just like at school, I will read and you will follow along. You can use your finger to follow along on the page. And just like at school, I'm going to stop at different points to ask questions. That's our strategy today. Are you ready? Finger on the page, eyes ready to read, listening carefully. Your Auntie Betty has copped it, said Pa Hedgehog to Ma. Oh no, cried Ma. Where? Just down the road, opposite the newsagent's. Bad place to cross, that. Everywhere's a bad place to cross nowadays, said Ma. The traffic's dreadful. Do you realise, Pa, that's the 3rd this year, and all on my side of the family too. First there was Grandfather, then my second cousin once removed, and now poor old Aunt Betty. Let's stop there. I've got some questions. I'm thinking, how is Ma Hedgehog feeling? And why are the hedgehogs trying to cross the road, especially if it's so dangerous? Let's keep reading. Fingers on the page. They were sitting in a flower bed at their home, the garden of number 5A, of a row of semi-detached houses in a suburban street. On the other side of the road was a park, very popular with local hedgehogs on account of the good hunting it offered. Let's stop there. I've got some more questions. I want to know, why don't the hedgehogs just live in the park? Then they wouldn't have to cross the dangerous road. And I also want to know, what animals do hedgehogs hunt? I didn't know that hedgehogs hunt. Let's keep reading. Fingers on the page. As well as worms and slugs and snails, which they could find in their own gardens, there were special attractions in the park. Mice lived under the bandstand, feasting on crumbs dropped from the listeners' sandwiches. Frogs dwelt is another word for lived. Frogs dwelt in the lily pond, and in the ornamental gardens, grass snakes slithered through the shrubbery. All these creatures were regarded as great delicacies by the hedgehogs, and they could never resist the occasional night sport in the park. But to reach it, they had to cross the busy road. Carrying on reading answered some of my questions, didn't it? But now I've got more questions. I want to know, what do mice and frogs taste like? Blech. And which animal do the hedgehogs like eating most? I think if I was a hedgehog, I would probably enjoy eating maybe the frogs. What do you think? I want to know, what questions do you have about anything we've read so far? See if you can use a different question word. I've used what, which, when, how. See if you can think of 3 questions about what we've read so far. Ask your questions out loud, then write your questions down. Once you've done that, press play. Ready to begin again. Press pause now. Well done. I wonder what questions you came up with. Okay, let's keep reading. We are about to start reading 6 lines down. Poor old Aunt Betty. Get your finger ready. Poor old Aunt Betty. Are you ready? Here we go. Poor old Aunt Betty, said Ma again. It's a hard life, and that's flat. It's a hard death, said Pa sourly. And that's flat too. Talk about squashed. The poor old girl was... Shh, said Ma, as the sound of approaching footsteps. Not in front of the children, as up trotted 4 small figures, exact miniatures of their parents, except that their spines were still greyish rather than brown. Oh, I've got more questions, everyone. Okay, my question now. When do hedgehogs' spines, you know, the spikes on their back, when do they turn brown? And I'd like to know, how would the young hedgehogs feel if they heard Aunt Betty had been hit by a car? What I want you to do is think of some of your own questions about the part that we've just read. What questions do you have? Can you use a different question word at the start of your question? Say your question out loud and then write it down. Once you've finished, press play. Press pause now. Well done, everyone. I wonder what questions you came up with. You might want to put them in an email to your teacher. Okay, let's keep reading. 3 of them were little sows. Not sows, sows. Let me start again. Sorry, loves. 3 of them were little sows, named by Ma, who was fond of flowers, peony, pansy and petunia. Pa had agreed reluctantly to these names, but had insisted upon his own choice for the 4th, a little boar. Boys, he said, needed noble-sounding names, and the 4th youngster was therefore called Victor Maximilian St. George, Max for short. Almost from the moment his eyes had opened, while his prickles were still soft and rubbery, Max had shown promise of being a bright boy, and by now his eyes, his ears, and his wits were all as sharp as his spines. "What are you talking about, Ma?" he said. "Nothing," said Ma hastily. "You wouldn't be talking about nothing," said Max, "or there wouldn't be any point in talking." "Don't be cheeky," said Pa, "and mind your own business." "Well, I suppose it is their business, really, Pa, isn't it?" said Ma. "Or soon will be. They'll be bound to go exploring outside our garden before long, and we must warn them." "You're right," said Pa. "Now then, you kids, you listen to me." And he proceeded to give his children a long lecture about the problems of road safety for hedgehogs. Max listened carefully. Then he said, "Do humans cross the road?" "I suppose so," said Pa. "But they don't get killed." "Don't think so," said Pa. "Never seen one lying in the road, which I would have if they did." "Well then," said Max, "how do they get across safely?" "You tell me, son. You tell me," said Pa. "I will," said Max. "I will." My final questions for today. Why did Max ask if humans crossed the road? And what is Max planning? It sounds like he's got a plan. What questions do you have? Ask your questions out loud and then write them down. Once you've finished, press play. Press pause now. Oh, wow. Chapter 1 was exciting. Well done, everyone. I bet you've come up with lots and lots of questions. Tomorrow, we will continue reading The Hodgeheg and we will carry on asking questions. Today, you could make a list of all of the questions you have so far about the hodgeheg. I want to know why it's called the hodgeheg and not hedgehog. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely